You had poverty, a large family, you had inherited trauma. What other might you point to as sort of distressing things, if you like, that led to this eventual diagnosis of complex childhood trauma or complex PTSD?
Yeah. It the my environment, I mean, the environment we grew up in, we believe is what we call normal.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
so so yeah, I had no idea what was happening, and most people don't understand what is happening and the toll it will take on your well, your whole being, your mind, your body,
yeah,
your interaction with other people, and even your spirituality. So, you know, I was in this petri dish, so to speak, of 16 people, and I decided, 60 years later, when I turned 70, I decided to write this story about my childhood only because I thought it was wildly interesting. My life, my accomplishments, things that I did that when people hear these stories, they are they are so taken back that they want more. But what I did is I never told the sad stories. I just told the funny stories.
yeah,
And when I wrote the my memoir, I enlisted a team actually of mental health professionals to make sure I wasn't saying anything triggering to the reader.
yeah,
But I also want to understand for myself and my siblings what happened. Why does this happen? And I thought once I got the diagnosis that it's a minority of people. And it was just bad luck for me, kind of being born into that environment and that very tragic combination of poverty, ignorance, violence, and classic trauma.
yeah,
So the ACEs, I don't want to run through them, but they include neglect, abuse. So, I went hungry many days. Um, my dad he had a PhD in violence.
yeah.
He raised his sons to be fighting machines.
Hmm.
His father would bring him into bars and pit him against other fathers' sons. And if a bare knuckle fight, and if my dad would win, his father would get a free beer, and the fighter would get a root beer.
Hmm.
And so it's like cockfighting.
Yeah,
And that's just a horrible, horrible. And he trained us to do the same thing. And he taught us that in a fight, you don't stop until the opponent is unconscious. Not that you've won. You want to make sure he will never fight you again. So and he was excellent. He was the number one prize fighter for the U.S. Navy.
sure.
So he had skill, he had strength, he had anger. We grew up, and some of the trauma my brothers are suffering from was the damage they exerted on other people.
Yes.
Right? That's horrible. It's just a
Yeah.
horrible thing. So, I managed through life, but found this awareness at 70. And when I wrote the memoir, the world was breaking my door down, wanting to talk to me,
Sure.
wanting
I
help
can
from me,
imagine. I can
wanting
imagine.
help from me. And,
I'm going to
and
get to this memoir in a second, but I want to go back a little bit because I think it's important for people to understand that from this inauspicious beginning, you did have a very, in many ways, successful life. You didn't go off and become a gangster and end up in prison, or I don't know about any sort of substance misuse history. I'm sure you had some issues around alcohol or something like that, but you went on to have a very successful career and you were a very successful man. Can you tell us a little bit about what you did and how you
sure,
survived?
sure. I was, the grit that was built as a childhood adds resilience. It breeds creativity. So I'm finding, we bifurcate. We take one of two paths if we
Hmm.
are a result of trauma. We either use it as rocket fuel for success,
Yeah.
which is its own disease.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
its own disease,
Yeah. Yeah.
or we turn to destructive ways. And this whole
And some
thing.
do a combination of both, and some do a
Some do.
combination of destruction and failure, destruction and success, which is, I guess, what you're saying, right?
Exactly, yeah. So.
If you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.